How are you, students? Welcome back to our other lesson, Maths Form 1. Remember that last time we had a lesson and we were looking at the topic of solving simultaneous equations we were looking at elimination method that time. Today we want to go further and look at still solving simultaneous equation. This time we will look at elimination methods, a few of them, and then we'll go ahead and look at substitution method. My name is Mr. Joha. I want to remind you that when you are at home, keep safe there. Remember to take all the precautionary measures that were given by the government to combat this pandemic of COVID-19. So our objectives, the learner should be able to solve simultaneous equation by elimination method, although we look at the other method. Now, just going forward, we have an example. Because the other time we said that simultaneous equation is an equation that two equations that are supposed to be solved at the same time. Like this is a simultaneous equation. 2a plus b is equal to 5, and then you have a minus 2b is equal to 5 again. This is a simultaneous equation. So we need to solve it to get the value of a and to get the value of b at the same time. So because we are using elimination method, these two equations, we have indicated equation 1 and equation 2. So how do we go about it? We can see that equation 1 is 2a plus b. Equation 2 is a minus b. So in both cases, the coefficient of a in equation 1 is not the same as the coefficient of a in equation 2. Also, the coefficient of b in equation 1 is not the same as the coefficient of b in equation 2. So in other words, we have to make one of them one equation so that the coefficient of one unknown should be the same. And therefore we have decided to make the coefficient of a to be the same. So there we are multiplying equation 1 by 1 so that it remains that way. And we multiply equation 2 by 2 to get equation 3. So in other words, what we are saying is that these two equations are 2a plus b is equal to 5. The other one is a minus b, 2b minus 2b is equal to 5. The coefficient here of a, coefficient of a is 2, coefficient of a is 1. The coefficient of a in equation 1 of b in equation 1 is 1. The coefficient of b in equation 2 is negative 2. So they are not the same. So we have chosen to make the coefficient of a to be the same. So we are going to multiply the first equation by 1 so that if we multiply that equation by 1, it will remain that the same. Then we multiply equation 2 by 2 so that the coefficients will be the same. So we get it as 2a plus b is equal to 5. That means we are multiplying 2 by 1, 1 by 1, 5 by 1. So everything remains the same. When we come to equation 2, we multiply by 2. So it becomes 2a minus 2 times 2 is 4. 4b is equal to 2 times 5 is 10. So that becomes 10. So in other words, our equation 3 now becomes this becomes equation 3. This one still is the same as equation 1. So equation 3 becomes the same as 2a minus 4b is equal to 10. So what do we do with those equations? We have made the coefficient of a to be the same. So we subtract equation 1 from equation 3. Subtract equation 1 from equation 3. In other words, you are going to subtract upwards. We are going to subtract upwards. We are subtracting equation 1 from equation 2. So every item there is going to be subtracted. First of all, we start with 2a, subtract 2a. That gives us 0. Then we come to negative 4, subtract b. So negative 4 minus b. Negative 4 minus b, we will get negative 5b. Because minus and minus, okay, minus 4, then minus 1 will become minus 5. So minus 5b. Then 10 minus 5 will be 5. In other words, what we are getting is minus 5 is equal to minus 5b is equal to 5. So divide by minus 5, divide by minus 5. So in other words, b will be equal to minus 1. So if b is equal to minus 1, then what is the value of a? We go back to our equations. The first equation, which was, the second equation, which was saying a minus 2b is equal to 5. We substitute for b. Substitute for the value of b. In that equation, our initial equations up there. Our initial equation a minus 2b is equal to 5. Substitute for b. So that becomes a minus 2. b was equal to negative 1. Substitute there. Substitute negative 1 where we have b is equal to 5. So what do we get? We again get a is equal to, a plus, because we have minus and minus will give us a plus. So a plus 3 plus 2, is equal to 5. A plus 2 is equal to 5. So in other words, the 2 will go on the other side. So it becomes a is equal to 5 minus 2. Our answer for that case, a will be equal to 3. A will be equal to 3. And therefore, if b is negative 1, a is going to be equal to 3. For that solution, for those two equations to be giving us the answer. b is equal to negative 1, a will be equal to equal to 3 for that equation to abide. So that is, we can give another equation, another example. Another example will be solve the simultaneous equation that we have 2a plus 5b. 2a plus 5b is equal to 20. 6a minus 5b is equal to 12. So that simultaneous equation, solve it using elimination method. So this is how it goes again. We are going to set the two equations, make them equation 1 and equation 2. 2a plus 5b is equal to 20. This is equation 1. Then we have 6a plus minus 5b. Again, that is 12. That is equation 2. Now, since the coefficients of B are already the same, we multiply one or both of them by a certain factor if the coefficients are not the same. But if we look at this simultaneous equation, the coefficient of 5 in equation 1 is plus 5b. The coefficient of b in equation 2 is minus 5b. So in other words, the coefficients are already the same for b. So we can use elimination method and eliminate b directly because its coefficient is the same. So how do we go about it? We add. I want you to remember that when we have a coefficient of minus and a coefficient of plus, to eliminate them we simply add. If those coefficients are the same, we have, for example, our plus 5 and minus 5, in that case, the coefficient of b. If they have different symbols, then we add them up. We add. When they have the same symbol, we subtract. Like in our first example, the coefficient of a, when we made them to be the same, it was 2 plus 2 plus 2. So the sign for both of them were the same, and that is why we were supposed to subtract. But in this case, the coefficient of b is plus 5, the coefficient of b in the second equation is minus 5. So we add to eliminate them. So add the two equations. Add the two equations because already the coefficients are the same. So we are not going to multiply by anything because we have the coefficient to be the same. So add them together. Remember, if we add 2a plus 6a, that will give us 8a. Then if we add we add plus 5, then we plus negative 5. Plus 5b plus minus 5b. You know, plus and minus will also give us a minus already. So 5b minus 5b will give us 0. We will have eliminated that. So that becomes a 0 plus 0 plus 0 is equal to 20 plus 12. That gives us 32. So in other words, we are having 8a is equal to 32. 8a is equal to 32. So what is the value of a? Divide by 8. Divide by 8. So a will be equal to 4. That is the value for a. We need to get the value for b. So we go back again to our initial equations. This time we are picking equation 1 to be the one that we are going to substitute for that a. Substitute where we have a, substitute 4. So we are going to take equation 1 and substitute there. So 2a, it will be 2 multiplied by 4. 2a, where a is 4, we are going to take 2 multiplied by 4 plus 5b is equal to 20. So this we have substituted. So in other words, now 5b will be equal to 2 times 4 is 8, so that, and because it is a plus, when it goes the other side it will be a minus. So we are getting 5b is equal to 20 minus 8 minus 8 minus 8. So in other words, 5b will be equal to 12. 12. So b divided by 5 divided by 5, b is going to be 2.4. So when A is equal to 4, B is going to be equal to 5, 2.4. When A is equal to 4, B is going to be 2.4. And that is how we can solve that simultaneous equation by elimination method. We are going to look at how we can solve a simultaneous equation, a word equation, in the same method of elimination method before we come to the substitution method. So keep around to see that. Thank you.